Hello. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, April 7th, 2026. I'm Manila Chan. That's Ted Rall, fresh off of Deprogram. Welcome to all the Deprogrammers. I hope you guys stay tuned. You are now tuned into the Ted Manila Information Show, TMI Show for short, because we bring you way too much information. We do it Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live. So please be sure to hit the like and the follow and the share and the subscribe button and all of that good stuff. And it seems like, I don't know if it was news to me that Jamarl is the permanent co-host now of Deprogram.
We try to bring as much drama as possible to the show. Actually, not really, but it wasn't my doing. But yeah, here we are.
He hasn't responded to me, so I'm calling him out right now. This is shortly after he announced like his health issues and his mini stroke and whatever. Mm-hmm. But he looks good now. He looks like he's like getting back on the good foot. So I'm glad.
He looks just the same to me. I mean, he looks like he used to be. He looks great.
Yeah, he was saying how he lost all this weight and from his illness and all that stuff, and he looks good. He looks good to me. But other than he said his vision in one eye was narrowed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I guess
he said that's got it.
Driving.
Any kind of vision loss, I'm going through that myself. It sucks. So I mean, his is more.
What
serious.
Do you mean vision loss?
I've got major ass floaters, and yeah. So basically, it's hoped that within the next, I guess now 5 months or so, that my dumb brain, will learn how to sort of look around them. Is what's supposed to happen. But if not, I might need an operation.
Just there?
Yeah, basically, it's like having like a big fat buzzy flies go in front of your eye constantly.
Constantly, wow.
Yeah, it's like it makes it's annoying to read. It's like you see, it's like it's just a part of your life. I mean,
like distracting.
Yeah, and it's in the way.
My vision changed after in my third trimester with my son, and they said it's normal because of the blood pressure. There's also because there's more blood volume in your body, and that it pushes up against your the vessels in your eyes and whatever, and that they're like, oh yeah, the majority of women, it happens with their eyeballs. It'll go back to normal after a few weeks after you give birth. You'll be fine.
Really?
Well, here I am. 7.5 years later. Still, I mean,
still no improvement.
Still no improvement. And I used to have great 20/20 vision. And then this happened. So
that sucks.
And I was kind of hoping that with this pregnancy, it might knock it back into place.
Yeah, sort of two wrongs make a right.
Right. No,
that's like how I broke my bone, my nose twice, and you can sort of tell, right? In fights.
Wow.
And one time I got punched.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank God, the second time I got punched by a lefty, so it sort of helped knock it back into.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Always try to get fit. If you get punched the normal way, you have to pick a fight with the southpaw after that. Yeah.
Can they really? Does that really work? You can just kind of knock it back into place.
I don't recommend it.
Enough.
I don't recommend it. It's really not like a good life choice, but
Do you get like a hump there in like the dorsal hump of your nose?
I get all my boogers and my nosebleeds are all in the right nostril because ever since that happened, I get I'm a no left nostril booger man. You
have a clean left nostril.
Left nostril is always booger free. Right nostril is like lousy with boogers.
I have the bad left nostril, which is the one the bleeder. So,
yeah, my bleeder is the right one.
Oh, well, we've got a good health sciences story.
Does it involve nostrils?
It involves blood.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So wait till you hear that one. It's good. So, all right. With that, before we jump into the show, I just want to say, so America is at the phase of full genocidal threats.
That's true.
Cool. Okay.
What could go wrong?
Okay. I'm just trying to accept that that's where we are in the stage of empire. And over in the UK, speaking of empire, they have just officially banned Kanye West from entering their country for mean tweets and wrong think and, like his Heil Hitler song. So
this is Japan?
No, the UK.
Oh, in the UK. Okay.
Yeah,
I was going to say, Japan can't really complain about any Hitler shit, considering they were kind of like way into that at the time.
Right. No. This is over in the UK because he was supposed to be a headliner for some music festival or whatever. But, as soon as Pepsi pulled out, Ted. Whoa.
As Pepsi goes, so goes the crown.
That's right. Just pointed that out. All right, let's get to the first sponsor of the day, and then we'll get to the stories. Okay, so today's sponsor is Chicago Steak Company. And they're giving away 8 free steak burgers with every order. Code 8burgers. 8. 8 is the lucky number in Chinese culture,
I'm aware. I know there's a chick at the New York Times who changed her middle initial to the number 8 because of the good luck aspect.
I like it. Good luck here. You get 8 burgers. Think about the last time you bought burgers at the grocery store. You stood there staring at a wall of plastic wrapped ground beef, trying to figure out which one isn't going to turn into a hockey puck on the grill. Maybe you grab the expensive organic pack, or maybe you go cheap. Either way, you get home, fire up the grill, watch them shrink to half the size, dry in the middle, falling apart through the grates. Oh, I hate that. Chicago Steak Company figured out a better way.
The great thing on the barbecue is the worst. I don't do it doesn't happen to me like how do you cook your steaks? My steaks are.
No, wait. No, this is burger. Wait, we got to finish.
Okay.
Chicago Steak Company figured out a better way to make these burgers. So they make half-pound steak burgers from USDA prime beef, hand-formed
so they're all together.
Cuts. Hand-formed, so like a real butcher, and ship them straight to your door on dry ice. These hold together on the grill, they stay juicy, and actually taste like steak. And here's the deal. Spend $189 or more on any steak you want, and use that code 8burgers, and they'll add those 8 free steak burgers, plus a bottle of steak seasoning, plus you'll get free shipping with your order. That's $200 in free extras on top of whatever else you ordered. They have 15,000 5-star reviews. These people know what they're doing here. Go to mychicagosteak.com/rumble. Use the code 8burgers. Link is over in the description. Grab them before this deal is all gone. And it is grilling season. But yeah, I actually prefer burgers on a skillet, on a pan, rather than
not on the barbecue.
No, we just grilled on Saturday, so but burgers I prefer. Look, I worked at In-N-Out Burger in high school, and they use the big the whole cooktop is like a big giant pan, right? And they throw like they chop the onions right there, like on the thing, like if you order animal style. So like that's how I prefer. Burger King does the grill, and there's a time and place for that. But I always preferred In-N-Out Burger.
In-N-Out Burger, I think the key is, I don't think the key is the cooking method. I think the key is the ingredients are better.
Yeah, they're fresh. I can vouch for that. This is not like an In-N-Out Burger ad.
Everything's super frozen at like BK.
Everywhere.
And don't get me wrong, I totally will eat at BK. But
I'll eat BK too. But
yeah,
In-N-Out.
By the
literally
way,
fresh.
Manila. So I used to work at Friendly's. Do you have Friendly's?
Aren't they just an ice cream place?
No. They have burgers. They have the menu is very analogous to Denny's. So they have the same kind of things that Denny's, at least they did when I worked there. But they had like burgers and potatoes and green beans and all sorts of shit. They're known for the ice cream and the sherbets and all that stuff. But the sundaes, like always about the sundaes. I had a girl in high school who was very excited to know that I worked at Friendly's because She wanted to come in and have a taste of my sundae, if you know what I'm saying.
But, Ted.
But she really just wanted a taste of the sundae,
the actual sundae.
Not my sundae. Yeah. So sadly and tragically for me. But anyway, the thing is, so anyway, this is important. I worked there in 1979. And one time I was asked to help unpack the delivery truck. And there's all the boxes, which is frozen foods. It's all the boxes of like frozen burgers. And the burgers, Friendly's burgers are square. They come.
Like Wendy's.
And when you open the box, I'm sure it's still true. They were perforated like postage stamps. So they were frozen and you could I
know what you mean.
Yeah. And then between each layer of let's say 6, there'd be like a piece of wax paper. And then there's another 6. Anyway, the point is I was opening these boxes and I noticed on the side of one of the boxes, the bicentennial logo of the American Revolutionary Bicentennial, 1776 to 1976, because yes, the burger had been packed 3 years earlier.
Oh my, it's a 4-year-old burger.
3.
Math, whatever. That's a lot.
At that point, who cares? But the thing is, people don't understand. Like, it's not like a fucking, it's not in the permafrost like a woolly mammoth. You know, like in Siberia, when woolly mammoths would thaw out, like the locals could eat them, even though they were 11,000 years old, because it's permafrost. Okay, but something's in say 0 degrees. It's still rotting. It just rots slow, but it rots.
Right.
And it's slowly rotting. And so that's all I got to say about that.
No. I'm not. I don't do that. I don't. Yeah. Well, anyway, In-N-Out Burger. That's the only burger joint I worked at in high school. First job was Taco Bell. Second job, I upgraded to In-N-Out Burger, and I can vouch for everything. Everything actually is fresh. That's where I learned to peel potatoes. Like I got fast peeling potatoes.
Oh, that's cool.
Like real. Like they're in the back room. There are kids back there like me.
I've had a few incidents where I peeled the skin right off my finger. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's bound to happen. It never happened to me. I was more careful than that. But the potatoes are fresh.
Ironically, the sharper the shaver you use, the better. It's safer.
Well, I know.
Like sharper tools are safer tools.
I know.
Sharper knives are safer.
I learned how to core lettuce. These are life skills.
Oh yeah.
You know, people don't realize it, but like that has all broken down in American society, by the way, Ted, because now when you go to In-N-Out Burger or even Taco Bell, there are not high school kids like you and I or Friendlies. It's not high school kids anymore doing those jobs. It's grown-ass adults.
Yeah, because these are people who used to be working at an assembly line and the plant closed and then they sent all that fucking work overseas. And now this is the only job they can get, or being like a Walmart greeter or like the old guys who work at Home Depot.
Yeah. Which is shitty because it's a breakdown in how young people learn about the world, and you build a work ethic and all of that stuff. And so if people complain about,
I used to deliver
kids, they don't have work ethic.
All the shit that I did as a kid is now adult work, right? I delivered newspapers. To the extent that anybody still gets a newspaper delivered, it's an adult with a car who drives around and delivers your paper, right? You mentioned, there's fast food. That's totally true. It's adults who do it now. I mean, sometimes you'll see, once in a blue moon, you'll see a kid.
Out of the whole staff, you might see, the whole staff at let's say McDonald's, maybe 3 or 4 of them will be someone college age or younger.
Cutting the lawn. It's an adult job now. It's usually migrants
now. Yeah.
They come with the giant mower. They come with the giant mower. Yeah.
So it's a whole thing. We can have a whole show about that, Ted. We won't do it right now.
I mean, I was against child labor. I hated all that work, to be honest. I hated having to do it.
No,
but I think
it's good for you.
Doing some of it is good. I think not doing as much as I had to, but working is not a bad thing. Yeah.
I worked all through high school and all through college. And that's why it took me the 8-year route to finish college. It was because I had to keep working. But I think it's good for you. And I think it builds a lot of character and a lot of strength. And I think that's also something that's lacking with the young people. But anyway, Another day, another time, another day. But there you go. Grilling season and our burger stories. So that's why you're here at TMI. And that is a cultural thing, Ted. That is a real cultural conversation that America needs to have, because I don't know what it's like in other countries. Like, do teenagers have jobs? Do they do that, or do they put that off?
Yeah,
or is it just an American
you do.
thing?
Sure you do. Think about, well, yeah, no, think about in places like Thailand, it's like you get on the bus and or India, Pakistan, it's a skinny little boy who's like 9 or 10 years old who picks up like so what do you mean? You mean like France?
I mean like first world nations like France, Germany.
No. Yeah, kids do not work.
Teens, really?
Mm-mm. No, it's not even legal.
What?
Yeah. I mean, they don't even do odd jobs. It's just not a thing. Not to mention countries like France have kind of permanently somewhat like stubbornly high unemployment, and it would be against the culture to be like like take a job away from an adult that a kid to give it to a kid.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I guess I never really thought about it, given how much in
Russia I never saw any kids working. China, no. In rural China, but not like
I never really
only it's in the developing world. You'll see like it's crazy. So you'd be in a jam-packed bus in Thailand, right? And like a little kid, like, and you're there by the window, and suddenly you feel a tap on the shoulder, and there's a kid hanging outside the bus from the window as it's moving like 50 miles an hour on the highway, and he's like, like it's 16 baht, and you're like, oh shit, and you're like, oh okay, here you go, and then the guy crawls over the top of the bus, and like it's like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's I know. I see that in Mexico, and you get swarmed with kids selling you chicle. It's ice cream, or excuse me, gum.
That's what New York City is like now with the candies. Like you don't know about this? So it's impossible to ride the New York City subway without being accosted by migrant moms and their little kids, sometimes even including babies that they're carrying, and who are like, "Do you want to buy candy? Do you want to buy candy?" And so like basically they buy candy from like these. I'm used
to the gypsy ladies with the flowers.
Well, this is it used to be. What are those things?
The gypsy ladies with the flowers. And dudes playing violin, walking up and down.
What are those Mexican pastries called? The sort of the long. They're just sweet. Like it's just like the
churros.
Churros, yeah. They sell. They used to, the same people who used to sell the churros are now selling candies. But they used to not have kids involved. Now the kids are because these are like Guatemalan and Honduran people who just got here and are basically homeless.
They're panhandling.
But they're selling a product.
Yeah. But I mean, effectively, I've seen a lady here at in the DC metro. She wasn't selling anything, but she had a baby strapped to her and a sign, because she doesn't speak English, that she's asking for help, and she just walks up and down the cars. Like she stays, like, I don't know how long she stays in the car, but she just goes from car to car to car and with a baby. So I didn't know that was a thing happening.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh well, there you go. Welcome to America, and
can't get a job in America.
So there are your job options, Ted. There you go.
What a lovely country we live in.
Oh, great country. All right, God bless America. All right, let's get to the first story I had planned for us. Is this? I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Ted. I've been saying it, actually. The so-called Ukrainian president, and if you wonder why I say this, it's because his term expired 2 years ago.
And I'm not sure that's true. Isn't it 3?
Oh, maybe 3.
Yeah.
At least 2. I know that.
At least 2. Yeah. And also his parliament they're all fake too.
They're all out of office. Yeah, their terms have all since expired. Okay.
Yeah, they're like, they're like the old SNL skit with John Belushi, the thing that won't leave.
That's Volodymyr Zelensky. So he's the so-called Ukrainian president. Wrapped up his visit with another so-called president, Ahmed al-Sharaa, that's his new name, the supposed president of Syria last night, Ted.
We could call him
otherwise known as Chop Shop Sharaa. That's not even his name. He's had multiple names because he was like one of the area bosses of Al-Qaeda prior to this.
Well, it's nice just that he has experience.
Yes, he can boast of many years of terrorism experience, head chopping, running, whole head chopping departments even.
Mm-hmm.
But now
so there is real management experience.
Real management experience there. That's for sure. Like he's overqualified to be at Burger King, for example, unless they're using head meat. But so that's
only in Springfield, Ohio.
Just imagine this, right? A Ukrainian comedic actor who, for a show, played the piano with his penis, becomes president of Ukraine.
Sing me a song, I'm the penis man. Sing me a song tonight.
And he won't leave the office, is now meeting up with a former head chopper that America has now anointed the new leader of Syria. And they're hanging out in Damascus this weekend up until he just wrapped up the visit last night. So these two guys are hanging out, Ted. Al-Sharaa apparently like now enamored with his new job. He's like, just think about this. He's like, 3 years ago, I was like in fucking caves. And now I'm flying on private jets. I have a Rolex. There's like, have you seen this? Like the images of him like showing off his Rolex watch and his like Armani suits. And he's like, look at me. Like, I'm not even joking. You think I'm joking. This is actual news. You guys can go look this up.
It's weird about these guys who
enamored
do that.
About his new life.
Like, remember when the Dalai Lama was showing off his Rolex?
That's so weird.
It's like, what's with you guys? I don't even understand. And Kristi Noem was wearing some $50,000 watch while she was posing in front of the Gulag, the Sikhat Gulag in El Salvador.
Nice. Lovely. Well, so that's what these two guys are doing, Zelensky and al-Sharaa. They had a farewell dinner last night. Zelensky arrived in the Syrian capital on Sunday. In tow with him, Turkey's foreign minister, Hakan Fidan. I feel like I just said like his confidant. Hakan Fidan.
Sounds like a Turkish dish.
Hakan Fidan.
I'll have the Hakan Fidan, please. Go easy on the spices.
I guess Zelensky has been doing a Gulf tour this past week. So this trip comes at a moment of heightened regional tension with the war in the Middle East complicating Ukraine's already urgent defense needs. Because, Ted, Zelensky hates that nobody's talking about him.
By the way, I'm not really sure that their defense needs are urgent. I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
You lost this war a long time ago. So urgent's not really the right word. It's
Ted,
more like
he's pissed.
It's more like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, the plague scene. I'm not dead yet. Not dead yet. That's more Zelensky's shit.
That's Zelensky. But because he's an actor, he's like, how come no one's paying attention to me? First it was us 24/7. Then it was Gaza. Then it was Gaza for the last 2 years. And he's like, what? Now you guys are talking about Iran? No, me. So that's what he's trying to do in the Middle East.
He's also been asked for some weapons back, right? That like we need. But Manila, he can't give them back, right? You know why? Because
he sold them.
Bingo, bango. All of them. Bingo, bango. And here's the hilarious part. The Iranians ended up buying them like on the dark web.
Well, them and the Mexican drug cartels is what I hear.
So funny. So ridiculous.
I mean, I'm not even joking. The Mexican drug cartels.
No, that's not a joke. That's true.
That's true. Like, you can go look this up.
The serial numbers have turned up there. Yeah.
They're like RPGs, like the cartels are firing off RPG in Mexico.
Yeah.
So that's the news the mainstream won't tell you. So In a Twitter post, Zelensky said that he and al-Sharaa had discussed the circumstances of Russia's war against Ukraine, adding that he was grateful for Syria's support, noting strong interest in exchanging military and security experience with al-Sharaa.
What? I guess Zelensky's at the point where we're out of weapons now because with we selling them all. So
told them.
So now we're going to have to resort to head chopping. So they're going to run into battle and chase the Russian soldiers with knives.
Well, you got to put on flip-flops.
Yeah. We're rolling Syrian style now.
You got to put on flip-flops. You got to buy Toyota Hiluxes.
Is that a scimitar in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? Yeah.
That's the only way. If they want to go the al-Sharaa route, which is the Al-Qaeda route, then you definitely have to put on like the turban. You have to resort to like 50-year-old AKs.
You should make some cool videos, like those ISIS videos.
This is where Zelensky's at. I'm just saying, this is where Zelensky's at. And then he said, if we can exchange...
when you told me about this story, I was kind of like thinking, oh yeah, Zelensky. It's like that guy. Remember back when?
Oh, remember that guy? He's still there. And he still has not relinquished office. But he told al-Sharaa, he said, look, you can teach me some military exchange tactics and I will become a dependable food exporter for you. He says, this is a joint opportunity to strengthen food security across the whole region, bro. Because Ukraine, we're the breadbasket of
that's Europe. True.
So we can share with you. You share with us your security experience. Wink, wink. Meaning, loan me some of your guys. That's what I read between the lines. Is loan me some of your men because all of ours have been sent to the meat grinder. So
they've all been killified. And all the Ukrainian men who have any brains are gone.
Oh yeah, they're long gone. Long gone.
In the Seychelles.
So that is my read of what that trip was there for. I could be wrong, but I'm reading between the lines that if his quote, according to his Twitter, Zelensky's Twitter, is that we're going to exchange military ideas.
Yeah, because I think that really means it's not really
give me some men.
Yeah, it's not really like it's not like Syria and Al-Qaeda really had a sophisticated military. Let's put it that way.
So I think that's what he's saying is like, give me some dudes. Now, the meeting in Damascus is particularly notable given Syria's, we'll say, complex relationship with Moscow, because during the 14-year civil war, Russia was a crucial ally of the former real president, before that too, Bashar al-Assad, providing very decisive military support through airstrikes. They staved off, Ted, the Russians did, they staved off ISIS takeover of Syria.
Yeah.
Like literally, I don't care if you are
half the country,
Al-Qaeda.
Half the country belonged to ISIS at one point.
Yeah, I don't care if you're an Assadi, right? Like somebody that's, official military from the government, from Bashar al-Assad's government. I don't care if you're Al-Qaeda. I don't care if you're whatever other small militia groups. The Russians saved Syria from fucking ISIS. Flat out. Just flat out. That's Russian air power saved the country from ISIS. Assad obviously now living in exile in Moscow. Sharaa, who once led rebel forces against Assad, has taken a more nuanced approach, though, since coming to power. So I'll give him that much, Ted. While opening new diplomatic channels, including with Ukraine, he has so far maintained a working relationship with the Kremlin. In January, Sharaa met with Russian President Vladimir Putin and has not requested the withdrawal of Russian forces from Syrian bases, suggesting a careful effort to balance competing international ties. So Ted, let me get this straight. We have Donald Trump threatening full annihilation of a country of 90 million people, but yet we have a former jihadi head chopper saying, hold on, I'm trying to be diplomatic here with both the Russians and the Ukrainians. Let's make a deal. I really like my G6 jet. I really like my Rolex. Hold on, let me be a diplomat here. So we have a head chopper being the diplomat, calling for calm across the region. And we have Donald Trump calling for full-scale genocide of 90 million people.
True. That's where we're at.
So, Ted, I can't believe I'm saying this because you've criticized me a lot for being so mean to al-Sharaa.
Sharaa.
I think he's the bigger man here than Donald Trump.
I think that's right. We have to call it as we see it.
I can't believe. Wow. So here you are. We have a former al-Qaeda leader taking a more tactful approach than the U.S. president.
He's the calm, measured adult in the room.
This is the world we live in, folks.
Yeah.
Next story.
Iran's Mehr news agency reports strikes on the strategic Kharg Island, which is central to the country's oil exports and economy. About 90% of Iranian crude oil exports leaves via Kharg Island, much of it sent to China and other Asian markets. Kharg Island isn't very big. It's about 8 kilometers long and 4 to 5 kilometers wide, but it hosts extensive infrastructure, including storage tanks, pipelines, and offshore loading terminals. The island's terminals can load roughly 1.3 to 1.6 million barrels of crude oil a day, helped by deep water access that allows very large crude carriers to dock there. Iran shows no sign of backing down as that U.S. deadline to reopen the Strait of Hormuz looms tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Interesting to me that Trump didn't choose Tehran time so that they wouldn't have to do the conversion. They don't want any confusion, between daylight savings. Like, what if the Iranians?
Oh, that's true.
They don't get that.
I don't think they do that.
No, they don't. They're not gay that way. Defying threats by Trump to decimate the country's civilian infrastructure and today to destroy its entire civilization. Trump has warned that unless Tehran allows free passage through the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. will unleash the complete demolition of Iran's critical infrastructure overnight tonight. We have a plan where every bridge in Iran, I doubt that. There's a lot of bridges in the country that size, even like the little ones across a little creek, like 10 feet wide. I don't think so. But anyway, every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night. So in 4 hours, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business. Again, it's a big country, Donald. Burning, exploding, and never to be used again, Trump said. I don't know how you can really, Hiroshima is used again. I'm not sure how you can really say never used again. Israel's military issued a warning in Farsi to Iranians on Tuesday morning, advising them to avoid using trains until at least 9 p.m. local time. Your presence puts your life at risk, the warning posted on X read. Tehran has shut off internet access in Iran for weeks, making it hard for citizens, of course, to see Israel's warnings. However, Farsi language satellite news networks abroad report them, allowing the information to make its way back into Iran. Possibly, maybe, probably not.
Okay. So shouldn't the U.S., barring that we're being ruled by Donald Trump right now, but generally speaking, shouldn't any country that is threatening annihilation to a civilian population, shouldn't the onus be on them to warn the civilians?
Well, first of all, it's illegal under international law.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And under treaty obligations that the United States has signed to target civilian infrastructure or structure, even if that civilian infrastructure can partly be used by a power plant. Like, let's say you have a power plant that is in a city and there's a military base in that city. You can't say, well, some of that power from that power plant goes to the military base, therefore we're allowed to bomb this power plant. You could bomb a power plant in that city if it exclusively served that military base. But if it serves any civilian population at all, you're not allowed to target it. It's a civilian target.
I mean, that's what not Air America. During the Vietnam War, I mean, you remember the U.S. dropped flyers and said, and would put out on ham radio, whichever way they can, to warn civilians that they, GIs were coming their way.
Right. True.
So shouldn't we be more responsible?
Obviously.
And try to do that now and be like, hey, we're going to target Tehran tonight. Everybody should get the fuck out. All civilians get the fuck out.
But look, who knows? I mean, Donald Trump never does what he says. And that's good and bad. I mean, so in other words, he may not deliver on this. I hope he doesn't. He might, look at the tariffs. He could easily, I mean, there's a strong chance he's going to be like, okay, he already said you have till Sunday night. I mean, Tuesday night. I mean, next week. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if he pushed the deadline back again. Would you?
No. Robbie wants to weigh in, but no, I agree that you just never know with that guy. But that's the worst part, right? Is
it also could be a distraction. He could be like, he could launch some military operation that's completely unrelated to blowing up bridges or power plants. At the same time, he said he's going to do that just to misdirect.
He's weighing sending, or he has already. There are men that have shipped off that are apparently going to have boots on the ground at Kharg. So at that little teeny tiny toll booth of an island.
Hey, funeral homes need work too.
I'm just thinking about this because I was at church on Sunday, for Easter. And when he sent out that tweet, I mean, the whole praise Allah thing, that was an insult to Muslims. But I also want to point this out. He insulted Christians too. He did this on the holiest day on the Christian calendar, Resurrection Sunday, where we celebrate the resurrection of Christ. So he goes out, and I'm no shrinking violet. I'm not opposed to rough language. But for the president to come out on Sunday, on Easter, dropping the F-bomb, and then coaching this in a almost religious sense, I think that what the people who are behind Trump, who are controlling him, they want a religious war, because those are the most vicious wars. The Reconquista took 900 years. Think about that, what I just said. The longest war in history fought between Muslims and Christians lasted 900 years. The Islamic war against Rome lasted 800 years. They are the most brutal, the most savage, and the most civilization-destroying wars that you can have. And people who call themselves Christians, like I do, get up there and they clap like seals for this orange buffoon. They are doing so much harm. It is hypocritical to the extreme, and I submit to you that it is Antichrist. He's not the Antichrist, but Trump is 100% a Antichrist. And if a Christian can't stand up and say that, shame on you. Shame on you.
It's also a distraction from Easter, right? It's like sort of, you're making the news about you.
It is.
The timing couldn't be worse. That's for sure.
Yeah. When I worked at the hospital, and I'll go because this has really pissed me off, and we have a lot of stories to go through. When I worked at the hospitals, people don't understand this. When I worked in ICU as a volunteer, I worked in the NICU and also worked in normal ICU. So you have these people who are on ventilators. These are the absolute weakest people in our society. They have no power. Machines are literally keeping them alive. That's the same no matter what country it is that you live in. Trump talking about doing what he's doing is killing tens of thousands of innocent people, grown-ups, babies, sick kids. My question is to you, Christian, where are you? Are you going to stand up? You say you worship the Prince of Peace. Where are you? You disgust me with your cowardice.
There's no arguing with a single syllable.
I can't add to that. I can only tell you that here in DC, I have not heard, on local news, there's not even one report on social media that any Christian or anybody is even out front of the White House picketing.
Christian, socialist, atheist, you name it. Look, there's no opposition to this war that is of note, that is beyond people like us talking about it on podcasts or, people over water coolers expressing their disapproval. It's all private, right? There's literally nothing out in the streets. There's nothing in Congress. The War Powers Act hasn't been invoked. There's no talk about it. You don't even have, the loyal opposition, people like Bernie Sanders, AOC. Where are they? The silence is deafening. If we were, at the end of World War II, we said that all the German people were guilty of collective guilt and had it coming because none of them meaningfully opposed the regime. Well, at least there were a number of attempts to assassinate Adolf Hitler. There was a German opposition movement internally, like the White Rose and Sophie Scholl, these people who were executed for opposing Hitler. What do we have? We have no, if someone were to call us to account and they said, where were the protests before this genocide?
Where's the dissent?
If Donald Trump nukes Tehran tonight, where's going to be the protest? That's not a 0% possibility, is it?
Right.
And
that's what's scary.
Where the fuck? Tomorrow, I guarantee you, there will be a few thousand people protesting in Washington with very politely, peacefully holding up their little placards and following all the instructions of the local metropolitan police.
Yes, crossing at the crosswalk and all of that.
Right. It'll be like this during the 1918 German Social Democratic Revolution in Germany. There's film of the police shooting at the socialists, and the socialists run away across a public park, and there's signs that say "Don't walk on the grass," and the socialists go around because they're German.
Look,
that's what we're like. We're good Germans.
There's no Valkyrie happening here.
No.
So the last thing I'll say, I'll go away. After the United States was formed, Thomas Jefferson famously, in one of his letters, I can't remember which one, Ted, you might know. He's talking about slavery specifically, and he was talking about, I tremble for my country whenever I reflect that God is a God of justice. And keep in mind, Jefferson wasn't a Christian; he was a deist, so kind of like an agnostic. And he said, "Here's the concern: slavery is like having a wolf by your ears. You don't know what to do with it, but you don't dare let it go, because of what would happen." But the follow-up for that letter is like, "But I tremble whenever I think that God is a God of justice, and his justice will not sleep forever." If you go through and if you read the Bible, one of the things that the Lord hates the most are hands that shed innocent blood. When Joshua went into the promised land and God told Joshua to kill every man, woman, and wipe the place out, it was because the child sacrifice was so prolific there with the worship of Baal. That's why that was to be done, to totally cleanse the land. So that way that wouldn't infect their society with that belief. It did anyway, but that's what they're supposed to do because Joshua didn't finish the job. Fast forward to our age. God never changes. He hates hands that shed innocent blood. And judgment starts in the house of God. And if you're a Christian, and if you say that you love the Prince of Peace, the Lord Jesus Christ, if you don't stand up, then you're going to have to pay an account, and you're going to have to explain to him why you said nothing when our government, in your name, and at least with the consent of your silence, if not your applause, is going off and committing a genocide, threatening a genocide, killing hundreds of millions of innocent people that have done you no harm whatsoever, because you are going to have to pay for that. You will pay for that. My conscience is clear. How's yours?
I don't understand, by the way, members of the military who are not refusing these deployment orders.
Right. This is, I'm glad you brought that up, Ted. I'm
better
curious.
To be court-martialed.
Yeah, this. If ever there was a time to disobey orders, if this order comes through, right? I don't know if you're the guy at the silo that pushes the button.
It's like,
yeah, if you're the guy in the silo in Montana, like,
or the general, or more to the point, the general who gives the order to the guy in the silo.
Yeah, if ever there was a time. Big thank you to Arian Gordy for the donation. As Ted always says, there has to be a credible threat of violence in protests for change to occur. Robbie may not share the same theology as you, but amen. The orange tard is playing a Sims game with us. Yeah, this is not, I don't know what happened, but I feel like it's a different Trump than Trump 45. Trump 47 is everything that the Democrats promised Trump 45 would be has come to fruition as 47.
Well, he's 10 years older, right?
Meaner? Is that
no Donald Trump? I mean, he's 10 years older than when he
meaner?
ran in 2016. Well, I mean, let's get to it. I mean, when Joe Biden was the same exact age, he was very clearly senile and should have been removed from office. It's time to, senility doesn't and Alzheimer's do not present the same way each time with all people. But it's time to ask. I mean, look, Donald Trump's father suffered from Alzheimer's at his current age. It's clearly in his genetics. Do you think, you and I both agree he doesn't look the same. He's not, his eyes are different. He's like a different look. I mean, is it possible that Donald Trump has lost his fucking mind? And then the other question is, if so, look, there's a remedy to this. There's two remedies. He can be impeached. That's a slow remedy. And JD Vance can do, honestly, I'm speaking to you as a fellow Ohioan, Vice President, Mr. Vice President, you are not a Kentuckian. Okay. So as a fellow Ohioan, Southwestern Ohio, Rust Belt boy, former journalist, also, please do scholarship kid to an Ivy League school. We have a lot in common. JD, do the right thing. Call for a majority vote invoking the 25th Amendment in the cabinet and remove this president and convey to the and promise not to run for president in 2028 so it doesn't appear to be self-serving. So it's just about taking care of this. You can create an open field for the 2028 Republican nomination for president. You're giving the party time to recover, in time to field a better candidate for 2028 for fundraising and so on. You're giving our country a chance to redeem itself with international public opinion, where you have people like French President Emmanuel Macron, who I often criticize, but who is not insane and is pretty level-headed and clear-eyed. And he said, we've looked at this. This war can't be won. I mean, the thing is, even if we captured half and occupied half of Iran, which is impossible, we can't do it. But we don't have the men, we just can't. No, but let's just say we did. It would not open the Strait of Hormuz. The Strait of Hormuz cannot be forcibly opened, as Macron says. It has to be only with the permission of Iran. So, like, Iran owns it.
The worst part, Ted, amen, JD Vance, please listen. And wow, 25th Amendment. Let me just say this, having experienced living and taking care of my grandmother to her final days, there are two types of senility that I've seen anyway. The kind that you see with Biden and my grandma, probably the more typical kind where they're in and out of who they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
When they're who they are, they're the grandma you remember, they're the whatever, right? Like they're the person you know. And then they snap into full-on forgetfulness, or they snap into like this mean, senile, whatever. But then there's the other kind of senility where it's just mean all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All the time. And the old grandma or the old grandpa that you knew is gone. Gone, daddy, gone.
Biden turned mean too.
Well, he was secretly mean.
He was an asshole, always was. Yeah.
I've always heard that he was secretly actually mean. And once the cameras turned on, he charmed and was like, hey, let's do some push-ups, buddy. Oh gosh, like let's have some ice cream.
Yeah, it was all bullshit.
But that was all bullshit. So who he really was like a mean, crotchety old man. Trump, from what I'd heard, was, in person prior to politics, was that he's actually very fun and charming and likes to laugh and crack jokes. And that's why he did so well in business. And now it's quite possible that he's turned into the crotchety, mean old man 24/7. And we're seeing it happen in real time by way of Truth Social, because he's mean truthing crazy, batshit crazy things. Batshit crazy in the middle of the night. And he already doesn't sleep. And we know, Ted, what happens with, people with age and senility. If you don't sleep, if you don't do all the right things, he eats McDonald's, probably 5-year-old frozen beef patties. What that can do to your health, Ted.
True.
I think we're watching it.
True.
And the French fries.
He's not Mr. Broccoli Rob.
No, the French fries, if you have children, you guys know, you'll find French fries there from like 5 years ago, and it hasn't degraded.
Terrifying.
Under your seat. Your seat. That's what's in Donald Trump's body.
Mm-hmm.
So think about what's fermenting in there for the past 80 years.
I mean, look, even if you just take away the fact that he's 80, I mean, there are people who are very sharp at 80, but they don't have the energy level. I mean, I don't have the energy level now at 62 that I did at 42. I mean, I don't expect at 82 I'll have the same energy level that I have now. I just don't. I mean, look, I just think even if there's nothing secretly going on with Donald Trump, let's just say he's like a 20-year-old. Like, he's just like Karine Jean-Pierre used to say about Biden, like he's the human tornado. No one can keep up with him. He's the smartest man in the room. Let's just stipulate all that. The fact is, what we know is what he is, the messages that he's putting out into the world. And whether that's just poor judgment or whatever, the fact is he's sending them out. So in a way, like what's going on privately in it's neither here nor there. It's like, let's just say secretly Joe Biden really was sharp at the cabinet meetings, which by the way wasn't true, but let's just say that it was. Again, it doesn't matter because the presidency is a public job and it's about what you do in public. In fact, if you're privately a big dingus, but somehow you manage to convince the whole world that you're awesome, then you're a good president, right? It's what you do in public that matters. Like, oh, Hillary Clinton apparently is charming one-on-one over drinks. Okay, that's useless. Okay, the point is, like, she's
a bloodthirsty lunatic when she's public.
Right. It's like, this is the job. It's kind of like, this actor, like Brendan Fraser is really a fucking amazing actor, like in his living room. Okay, great. But it's like, that's useless.
But his movies, he doesn't have an Oscar.
This is a public job, right? So it only matters like what you tweet, what you say, how you talk, how you present. Yeah. That's the only thing that matters. And by those standards, Donald Trump, to say that he's falling woefully short doesn't even begin to cut it. I mean, we'd be better off with no president at all than what we have going on right now. It's absolutely fucking terrifying.
Last thing I'll say, Ted, is I think the absolute worst part of all of this is like, not only have all, the 200 whatever schoolgirls that have died, other random civilians that have died, that's all horrible.
That he can't even be bothered to say he's sorry about.
Even all of that said, the worst part of this what is the bottom line that he wants today, Ted? Is the bottom line outcome he wants today is for the fucking Strait of Hormuz to be reopened fully.
Correct. Because he's scared to death of what happens if that doesn't happen.
No, let this sink in. The tweet was, open the fucking strait already. Right?
You crazy bastards.
So Trump wants the Strait of Hormuz open. So after all of this has been said and done, the past 4 weeks that this has been going on, what Donald Trump is effectively asking for is a return to the status quo from 6 weeks ago.
Correct. The strait would still be open if Israel and the United States, its ass boy, had not attacked Iran.
So that's the worst part, is it's literally all for fucking nothing, because what Donald Trump is asking for is just a return.
Yeah, you're going for
before we bomb them.
He wants to go back to the status quo antebellum. That's what he wants.
That's right. That's it. So why the fuck all of this for the last 4 weeks at all? How weak and idiotic is that?
Yeah, it's absurd. Yeah.
And you're the New York pro negotiator real estate guy.
Yeah.
You're negotiating back to the status quo. Oh.
Right. If you're lucky, you get to go back to, I mean, Manila, this is like a bigger version of what he did with the JCPOA. Like you had a pretty good agreement that Obama worked out with the Iranians. Pretty good. And then you tore it up and now you got nothing. It's like you gutted the Affordable Care Act, kind of like lame, not great.
And we're back to
now you got nothing. That's like he keeps doing that.
He keeps taking us back for, make him. I don't know if this is part of his vision of make America great again, is you return back to nothing instead of
I actually don't think he has a vision of make America great again. I actually don't think in his mind he knows what that looks like. I mean, people on the left, like liberals, say like, oh, he wants to go back to like Norman Rockwell, everyone's white. And I'm like, I think there are people around him who feel that way. But I don't think Trump has any idea.
No.
I think it's just like he chose a vague advertising slogan that he trademarked. A great one. And basically
marketing.
And it's vague. And the great thing about a vague slogan is that, obviously people just project whatever they think into
That's right.
it. So
That's right. That's why as a realtor, when I would take on a listing and I would, to the best of my ability, try to convince my sellers to, even if they haven't found a new place to move their shit to,
cozy home.
Declutter everything, take down all your personal effects, paint everything to like this bland vanilla color, right? You want a blank slate.
Right. So people can imagine. Because as a realtor, when you show a potential home buyer a house that's cluttered, like they can never imagine the clutter gone. Right.
Or like you like weird paint colors, like pink in this room and purple in that room. And like, so when people walk in, they're like, whoa, pink fucking walls and flowers and like grandma motif.
And you can say like, well, you can paint that, but they can't see it.
People can't see past it. Donald Trump did exactly the realtor trick.
Yeah, he created the tabula rasa.
He gave you the blank slate, and people were like, I know what MAGA is to me.
But he doesn't know. Yeah.
But no, he doesn't have to.
And the irony is that a lot of the people who followed him, that main division is between people who saw Make America Great as a synonym for America First, and those who saw it as we want to bomb Iran.
Right. MAGA. Make Iran great again, I guess.
Make to
the Stone
Iran
Ages.
Bombed again. Yeah.
Make them to the Stone Ages. All right.
Yeah. By the way, you really think that like the Iranian people, if they want a revolution, so that they're going to do it under these conditions? It's sort of like I was trying to explain this about like cats, right? Like my friend, has a mouse problem. Oh, can I have the cat for a day so he can kill all the mice? It's like It's not a video game. It's not Pac-Man. Like, if I bring a cat Clovis over to your house, he'll eat your mice, but he's gonna have to. He needs a month. Why does he need a month?
Right.
Because he has to settle in. He has
He
to
has to
make
acclimate.
things have to be just so. He has to feel safe before he starts doing that. And you're not going to see any dead mice for weeks. Well, that's the same thing with the Iranian people. You can't bomb the shit out of them and hope that they're going to go overthrow their country at the same time. It's like, doesn't make any sense. You have to create the freedom for them to do that.
If anything, you are going to unite them with this kind of threat.
Yeah, totally.
So, all right. All right, here's this cool science blood story that I was saying. So it's weird, but just I had a lot of ideas, Ted. So scientists may have figured out why people who live at high altitude tend to have lower rates of diabetes. The answer appears to be that your red blood cells start acting like tiny glucose vacuum cleaners, if you will. Obviously, this is not from the article. This is like my interpretation. So for years, researchers have noticed that people living in places with thinner air and lower oxygen, think very mountainous regions, think the Himalayas, places like that, right? People tend to have better blood sugar control and lower rates of diabetes, but nobody really understood why. But now there's a new study that's published in Cell Metabolism magazine. Have you renewed your subscription, Ted?
Oh, yeah, no, I have a 10-year subscription, of course.
Oh, good. You got that deal. Take advantage. It says, a missing piece may be your red blood cells, the same cells we usually think of as just little oxygen delivery trucks. Turns out under low oxygen conditions, they do a lot more than just carry oxygen to you. In this new study, researchers found that when oxygen levels drop, red blood cells start pulling way more glucose out of the bloodstream. And in some cases, 3 times more than normal. And they convert that glucose into a molecule called 2 and 3 DPG, which helps hemoglobin release the oxygen more easily. So your tissues can actually then use it, right? It converts. So that's incredibly useful at high altitude, obviously, where oxygen is harder to come by naturally by just breathing in. So the body basically says, oxygen is scarce, take the sugar, turn it into an oxygen delivery method, right? So the wild part is that adaptation, like you're just talking about Clovis. If somebody could borrow Clovis for a mouse or to catch a mouse, you need the time for the adaptation, obviously. So it may not be you yourself or whatever, but if you have, let's say, diabetes running your family, maybe you move there in 5 years, 10 years, maybe you start seeing the effects, but then your children and the future generations are generally going to have lower blood sugar levels as a knock-on side effect of human adaptation. So in mouse experiments, researchers found that under low oxygen conditions, glucose disappeared from the bloodstream almost instantly, Ted, after they fed on glucose. This is in mice, not humans. So don't let Clovis eat those mice.
Okay, I won't.
The usual suspects like muscle, liver, and brain, there was no trace of them. So like in any of those parts, the answer was that the red blood cells had quietly become like a glucose vacuum or conversion tool. Like that's freaking wild. So low oxygen triggered the body to make more red blood cells, and those new cells had more GLUT1 transporters, is what it's called. GLUT1.
Glut, I would imagine.
1. Yeah. Glut, spelled glut, yeah, glucose, but it's GLUT1 transporters. Basically more doorways for glucose to get inside. So not only did each cell become more sugar hungry, I guess, if you can kind of call it that, the body also started producing more of the sugar hungry cells. So there was more cell division. So it was efficient, and it just created pathways to get rid of the glucose. So that's friggin' amazing. So in fact, the researchers tested an experimental drug called hypoxystat, designed to imitate some of this low oxygen biology. And in diabetic mice, it reportedly reversed their high blood sugar, even outperforming some current treatments in those models. And this is all early stage, but bottom line is that your red blood cells actually do a lot more because this whole time, I mean, look where we are, Ted. We're in 2026. We're sending people back to the moon. Artemis did not go to the moon. It just it did a round trip around the moon. Nobody went back to the moon. But we can do that, Ted. But we didn't know until today, apparently, that the red blood cells do more than just carry oxygen. Like, wow. Like, that's a huge thing because we always talk about the GLP-1s and all of that shit on this show about how, you know, who needs bone density, Ted? I want to be Ozempic skinny.
Yeah, indeed.
But that, how cool is that? That your own red blood cells can clear out high glucose in the blood.
Yep. Hey, we have breaking news. That's why I'm distracted. Daily Mail is reporting Iran has cut off all communications with the U.S. after Trump threatened to destroy its whole civilization this morning.
Well, gee, I wonder why. That's all right.
So an official said that Iran wanted to convey its message of defiance and disapproval by ending all communications.
Can't say I blame them.
No. But that means there will be no deal. Now Trump has to decide what he's going to do after 8 p.m. tonight.
Of course not. Maybe his red blood cells are not carrying oxygen to his brain.
He needs to spend more time at high altitude. You know, the Iranians have some
Machu Picchu.
The Iranians have some serious mountains that he could visit.
I mean, if you don't want to go to the eastern hemisphere of the world, you can just go down south.
Like the
Machu Picchu?
The mountains that are in the area where the pilot went down, where he supposedly dragged himself 400 miles over the mountains over 2 days, which is super interesting.
Wow, 400 miles. I hadn't heard the mileage count.
400 miles. Yeah, and the mountains are 13,000 feet high, so they're not like lethal like bumps. So yeah, the thing is, Trump could go to those mountains since our troops have already been there
and get better red blood cell oxygenation.
And he might get some clarity on this whole war situation.
Who knew? Who knew? All right. Last story.
For decades, the Basque government has been calling for Guernica, the painting, of course, by Picasso about the Spanish Civil War, to be loaned to the Guggenheim in Bilbao. But Madrid's Reina Sofia Museum has just published a 16-page report that says that Picasso's masterpiece is too delicate and fragile to be moved, no matter what. So Guernica is big. It's almost 8 meters long. It weighs, with its transport structure, more than 500 kilos. There's 2.2 kilos in a pound. So what's that? It's like well over 1,000 pounds, right? 1,100 pounds. Ooh. And it has not left Madrid since 1981, when it arrived by plane from New York City after 4 decades of exile. Since then, every time someone has asked to borrow Guernica, the answer has always been niet. But this latest request has come from the Spanish government. Authorities in the autonomous Basque region, that's near the border with France, argue that the issue goes beyond cultural impact. The Basque government leader, Imanol Pradales, wants the work to be exhibited at Bilbao's Guggenheim Museum between October of this year and June of next year to coincide with the 90th anniversary of the first Basque government and the bombing of Guernica. According to the Basque government sources, the move would be a symbolic and political reparation, not only to the Basque people, but also a message to the world. The Reina Sofia Museum in Madrid, however, doesn't see it that way and just says that, listen, The painting's too fragile to be moved. The Conservation Restoration Department of the Madrid Museum published a few days ago this report in which it categorically advises against any transfer. The document describes the current state of the canvas with a level of detail that leaves little room for interpretation. Various examples of cracks and microcracks, loss of polychromy, pictorial lacunae. The part of the damage comes from the paint.
Word is?
I think
I don't
so.
know.
Part of the damage comes from the paint that was Picasso used, which has an added fragility. But most of it, according to the technicians, is a consequence of the more than 30 trips the painting underwent between the 1930s, when it was painted, and its arrival in Spain. On many of these journeys, the work had to be rolled up in order to fit into the transport containers. Oops, a process that left its mark. In 1957, given the poor state of conservation it was already in, resin wax was applied to the reverse, and it was reinforced with linen and cotton strips. The report is clear about what could happen with a new movement. Vibrations could generate new cracks, lifting and loss of the pictorial layer, as well as tears in the support. It added that the work cannot be rolled up and must remain in a vertical position with stable humidity and temperature conditions. Or you could just have UPS come by, DHL, and pick it up. And some bros will take it. It'll be fine.
Just wow. Like I was shocked when I came across the story. I had no idea people were fucking rolling up Guernica and putting it in a tube and sending it around like it's a poster. Like,
well, I think they did that with they do that with a lot of paintings.
What? Like these literally master works of art? Like, I couldn't believe, like, oh my God. Like this, I don't, are you a Picasso fan? I'm a Picasso fan.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
He's one of the artists that really speaks to me. And so when in my early 20s, so I'm friends with Charo Cucci, Love Boat Charo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. From my early 20s, her son and her now late nephew, her late nephew was a really good friend of mine, who just recently passed away. But Charo, Spaniard, Cucci.
Mm-mm.
Cucci is her word. Cucci.
Yeah.
She was married to Xavier Cugat, the inspiration behind Ricky Ricardo on I Love Lucy, right? But in the show, Xavier Cugat was the enemy of Ricky Ricardo, but that's who he was modeled after. Is Xavier Cugat. So that was her first husband. He was besties with Pablo Picasso. And Pablo painted a velvet, I mean, this is a thing, right, in the 70s. He painted a life-size velvet portrait of Charo. It's in her Beverly Hills mansion.
That's awesome.
A beautiful Spanish mansion that's like a time capsule, Ted. Like a fucking time. It's amazing and gorgeous in there. If you like mid-century Spanish revival, that's what this is. It looked like it's just trapped in time with like shag carpeting but pristine and just amazing, like celebrity level, right? So that's Charo's house. And then, so because I had these friends, right? Like I had the benefits of, even though I'm from the wrong side of the tracks, I had friends that were from Beverly Hills. So I would go to some of her different properties at like let's say Las Vegas, like at a country club or whatever. And there were again time capsules. There were little Picasso sketches just laying in drawers or wherever, because Pablo would hang out with her first husband and they'd be smoking cigars, and there's just fucking Picasso sketches everywhere. So
I can't have this conversation without thinking of the Modern Lovers song, Pablo Picasso.
I don't know. Do I know
Yeah,
that
you
song?
do.
I don't know.
When he drove down the street in his Eldorado, he was nobody ever called Pablo Picasso an asshole. Not in New York.
This is so like when
He
I
was
hear this
only
Guernica thing.
5'2", and he was, what is it? He was only 5'3", and girls could not resist his stare. When he drove down the street in his Eldorado, girls would turn the color of an avocado.
This, oh my God, Ted. So when I hear this story, I'm like, don't. They can move it, right, Ted? You're an art guy. They can move it safely in a humidity controlled.
Yeah.
Keep it in its vertical.
Yeah, it's just yeah. They can ship it.
It's a bitch.
I mean, it's a bitch. Yeah, but basically, it can be done.
It can be done. That's what I thought. Like,
I mean, it's a fucking monster. It's 25 feet long. I mean, it's a beast. So, but I mean, yeah, it's basically temperature controlled, like super shock absorber. Drive real slow, clear the road.
Right.
Convoy. I mean, it's staying
they
inside
the
same staying inside the same country, right? So
yeah,
I mean, it's not going on a plane or anything.
It's in where did they say it's in Madrid, right? So
it's in Madrid and has to go to northern Spain, which Spain's a big country, but still, yeah.
But like, it's an important thing, and like it's about the Spanish Civil War. So that's what the art is.
I can see why the Basques want it. So. The Basques are spicy people. And they're like,
I've not been to Basque country. I didn't make it there.
They're not going to take no for an answer.
Well, I hope they get it there. And Guernica is an amazing Picasso's art. Obviously, he fathered a whole genre of art, obviously, right? Like kind of like Rothko made this the sweeping paints, a thing. He fathered a whole genre of art. So this, like, wow. I don't know. It made me really want to go back to Spain. I freaking love Spain. Like I said, if I ever had to pick a foreign country that I had to live in that wasn't an English speaking country, sorry, France, I would go to Spain.
Mm-hmm.
I love Spain. And Pablo Picasso is from birthplace in Malaga. And I think he grew up ultimately in Barcelona or whatever. But anyway, he grew up on the eastern coast. And Guernica is on the northwestern coast.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was obviously inspired. He was like born in the late 1800s. So this is, something that inspired him.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing art. So I hope you guys go check that out someday. I would like to go see Guernica. I've not seen it. But so many museums in Spain, so much art, so much beautiful architecture. Love Spain. Love Picasso. And I love that I'm one Spanish celebrity separated from Pablo Picasso, the late Picasso himself.
That's very cool.
Isn't that cool? She's such a sweet lady, that lady. They've had a rough few years, but anyway, her house full of Picassos, of little sketches, little weird. I don't know what's going to happen after she passes away. Does her son sell them to a museum? Like what?
Well, the thing is, it depends on what you've got, right? I mean, like, highly personalized art can either be very valuable because, like the picture of her, because it tells a story and it has a clear provenance, or it can be like worthless because people don't really want. They want the sort of iconic, like blue period or whatever. They want something that people know. They don't want something
Not
that's specific to Charo.
Just done by Picasso.
I would say the appropriate buyer there would be someone who loves Charo and loves, Picasso. There's got to be some crossover there. It's a great story. I mean, the thing about the sketches is Picasso's sketches aren't really worth a lot because he gave them out like candy. People would come up to him and when he was sitting at a cafe in Paris and he would like do a little drawing for them on the napkin or whatever.
Wow.
So
there was a lot of napkin art at
there's a lot of them.
The Las Vegas condo that I was staying, her Las Vegas townhouse or whatever.
Yeah. He was
a lot of weird napkin art. I was like, why are there sketches on every fucking napkin in here?
That's why.
he was known for just randomly sketching.
It's just all the time. He was, I mean, and the thing is, he was very prolific in other ways too. I mean, like, for example, he experimented in other media. For example, I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, and they had an exhibit of his pottery, his ceramics. They're terrible.
But are they priceless just because it was made by
they're
Picasso?
Not priceless because they're terrible. And also they're numerous. I mean, so, you could buy Picassos. You just can't buy good ones.
Right. Oh. So not all like Da Vinci's,
No, because there's just, the thing is, the quantity is everything, Manila. So, I collect political buttons, right? And so 1840 election, you'd be like, oh my God, you have like a Tippecanoe and Tyler 2 token, which I do. I have several of them. The thing is, they're not really worth anything because it was the first election in the United States where people they made a shit ton of political ephemera for those campaigns, right? So they made a ton of it. And even though it's almost 200 years later, there's a shit ton of it. Now, Harry Truman, on the other hand, much more recent, 1948, 100 years later, but the Democrats thought that Truman was going to lose, famously, right? That's why there's the famous Dewey defeats Truman.
Yeah.
Everyone thought, even on election day, that he was doomed. So the Democrats didn't really spend much money on buttons for him. They didn't make very many because they were like, yeah, we don't really. So 1924, when Davis ran against Calvin Coolidge. Calvin Coolidge was an incumbent, very popular. Davis didn't stand a chance. He was also the first Southerner who was a Democratic Party nominee since the Civil War. They knew he was going to lose. So the Democratic Party almost made no buttons about him, for him. Those are rare and they're worth a lot. So it's like scarcity is really the main thing. Really? So like quality, scarcity, story, those things go together. So it's like blue period shit. There's not much of it. That's where the money is.
Oh, because I'm not a thief, so I would have never stolen one, but it crossed my mind, like, what if I stole a couple of these napkins?
I always think that about like when I go to like a museum, like if society collapsed and I could loot this museum like it was Baghdad in 2003, what would I take?
Museum theft is a thing. There's more of them happening than
true. I know.
Right now.
Look at the Louvre. Look at the Louvre.
It's like
Broad
every
daylight.
week they're getting heisted every other week.
True. It's like I almost feel foolish not to have my own personal blue period Picasso.
Like, why haven't you gone to the motherland to loot the Louvre? It's in your
Manila.
It's in your
if you're into Picasso, the best place the place you would be most impressed would be Steve Martin's apartment in New York City.
What?
He's I think probably got the most extensive collection of Picassos in the world and hanging in his home.
Kidding.
And he has probably $500 million worth of art in there. And he was he has incredible eye, and he's been buying it over the years. And yeah.
Steve Martin?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. I would have never, I got to look that up. Yeah. I love Picasso art. And my son likes Van Gogh.
Yeah. Obviously a lot of people
He's 7.
do.
He's
yeah,
7.
A lot of people do. My mom loves Van Gogh.
Really?
Except for Starry Night, he doesn't really do much for me. So I have a Van Gogh story. So when I worked for the Japanese bank, industrial
ear
bank
chopper,
Japan,
Ted.
in the in the 80s, yes, true, ear chopper. He'd be fine in Syria. And also syphilis, right? Didn't his nose fall off into his morning latte? Oops, not good.
Gross.
So
Wait, is that because he was a whore?
Oh, my nose. Yeah, because he was a whore.
He was, right? Like that's why.
They all boned prostitutes back then, and prostitutes all be having syphilis, and it was untreated, right? They didn't have antibiotics, so now it's just no big deal. You get antibiotics, but
that's
anyway,
what happened to him. Okay.
That's what happened to him. So that's why it's part of probably why people he was depressed because he didn't sell his art. Off. But you also lose your mind with untreated syphilis.
His ear probably fucking fell off because it turns everything into Swiss cheese.
Yeah, maybe it needed to go because it was
maybe
rotting.
He had a syphilitic ear. Yeah.
Yeah, could have. But yeah, your extremities can fall off, your dick can fall off. But anyway, so yeah, Van Gogh. So when I was working at the bank between 86 and 1990, the bank, so one of our rival banks, Sumitomo Bank, the president of Sumitomo Bank bought sunflowers. I think there's 4 versions, if I'm not mistaken, but he bought one of the notable versions. And it was at the time the biggest art sale on record. It was something like $65 million for this one painting. And we heard through the grapevine that it was hanging in the president's office in New York City on Park Avenue. So my boss and I had no business at all at Sumitomo, but we decided to he decided on a pretext, we'll go pitch a fake deal because we just want to see it.
I knew that's where you were going. I knew it.
So he made up some excuse, like we were something we want to talk to you about. So we walk into the guy's office. Of course, he has this huge fucking office, obviously he's the president of this major bank. And there it was, hanging over the radiator in direct sunlight. My boss and I look at each other, and we walked after the meeting, we walked out. He's like this, like, fucking Philistine. Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Fucking animal rube.
This is why things like that should not be really sold in the private market. It shouldn't be legal. So at a certain level, things should just, like an item like that should just be like repoed by the state and put into a state art museum.
Yeah, I'm not big on like the state doing, whatever into the private sector. But when it comes to something like that, like art, and there are things
extreme, right?
Yes. Oh my God. That just hurts my heart. Oh
yeah, it sucks. And by the way, it's like rolling up Guernica, right? Like,
right?
What the fuck were you tards thinking?
I mean, so when America gave it back to Spain in 1981, we knew better, Ted, but yet we fucking rolled it up and put it in a tube and was like,
like you're sending a poster from the New Yorker, with the different streets.
It's like my free gift. Or the New Yorker.
Like you're sending up the rolled poster of the kitten hanging from the tree. Hang in there.
They're like one of those fucking Ann Getty's babies in a flower pot. They're like, are you fucking kidding? I just
the big eyes lady.
I just can't, Ted. When I hear these art stories, I'm like, oh my God. Like, why? Oh my God. Like, why? How could you?
Some shit can't be helped, right? Like when the Titanic went down, it took the original manuscript of the Rubaiyat down to the bottom of the sea with it in the safe. I mean, but that couldn't be helped.
That can't, yeah. This is that people are fucking morons. And all the way up to 1981, we fucking sent it in a tube. In a giant tube.
So I guess it was in New York because of Francisco Franco was running Spain until 1981.
Yeah, and we fucking looted Spain.
Until the death of Franco. They weren't going to send it back.
No. But Ted,
Franco would have probably destroyed it, right? Because it was a critique of his fascist movement in the Spanish Civil War. Yeah.
That's probably true. So we kind of rescued it in a way. But to be fair and to be certain, anytime we America, we go into any country by boot, there's always, I don't know what the division is called of the U.S. military, but there are special operators who this is not like a public thing, but it's there if you really, really start digging. There are special operators, be it Green Berets or Navy SEALs or what have you, that when we go into a country and let's say Iraq, their specific mission is to fucking loot and pillage the antiquities and the art Do you know that?
Well, it's sort of like the Monuments Men in that movie, right?
Yes.
It's part of G5, the Civil Affairs Division of the U.S. Army.
Part of their assignment is literally to go in there and loot,
secure
for safety, for humankind, Ted.
Yep.
So, that's yay America. So if you ever wonder how Americans have
we're awesome
in their possession at our museums in New York, that's how, because we go in, start the war, and then we have like a special SEAL team, like not to go kill anybody, to go specially wrap, art and antiquities and steal them, pillage from your country. Yay, America. So here we are. Let's wait and see if 90 million people will still be alive tomorrow, Ted.
Let's see.
So we'll see if we report on that tomorrow. But thank you for tuning in. Oh, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I have several doctor's appointments back to back. Producer Robbie is sitting in for me mañana. Thank you, Robbie. Is there any housekeeping before we say goodbye?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to put together some stuff for Ted's Rumble channel. Figure out what I want to stream between now and Friday when we do our next little Ted and Robbie talk. I guess that's a thing.
Your argument?
And, well, I'm just going to depend on what. Well, I mean, a lot of it's just going to depend on what Trump's doing. Like right now, I mean, this whole Iran thing has really got me upset. I'm really upset about it.
So we'll just hang on to that and wait and see if it's
we'll
8
know
p.m.
a lot more
Eastern.
about it tomorrow. Yeah.
I don't know if it's 8 p.m. Eastern, if it's 8 p.m. Iran time, because they have like some, I don't know if it's sometimes 8.5 hours from us Eastern or 7.5 hours Eastern, something like that. It's something with a half mark on it. So it's not a full 8 hours. It's not a full 7 hours. Some add a half hour. So let's wait and see. And then we'll see Robbie's rage. I think that should be the podcast, Robbie's Rage, later this week. So that's it, guys. I'll be back on tomorrow's Thursday. I'll be back Thursday, provided I don't go into labor.
Well, if you do, tell the youngin I said howdy.
Tell who? The youngin?
Yep.
Yes. Well, she can hear you. They can hear everything that I can hear. It's reverberating from in my ear down into the belly. So she's already familiar with both your voices. So it's true.
Poor
Science.
girl.
Anyway. She's like, these people are insane. What kind of life is my mom bringing me into? I'm going to stay in here. All right, everybody. Have a great one. We'll see you back here mañana. The boys will see you tomorrow. I'll see you Thursday. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.